afternoon to everyone. My name is Fabiana del Bono. I'm a PhD student in electronics engineering at Politecnico di Torino. And today I'm presenting to you wireless power transfer closed loop control for low power active implantable medical devices. So the motivation behind this work is that we would like to allow a personalized treatment for chronic diseases like hypertension or cancer with a minimum impact on the patient's everyday life. So together with the Houston Methodist Research Institute, we developed a system, which is an implantable system for tunable drug delivery, which is implantable subcutaneously, and that can be tuned to deliver a specific amount of drug in the patient. This device is based on a silicon nanofluidic membrane that works like an ionic field effect transistor, let's say. So it, by applying a voltage on it, we can decide the flow of the drug inside the patient's body. And of course, to allow the chronic treatment of such diseases, we need to properly power it for a long-term operation, especially during the animal experiment. So, sorry. So right now, this is the current design, and it is an experimental device. It is based on commercial off-the-shelf components. It is quite small size. The PCB measures 2 centimeters by 1, and it is intended to be, as I said, subcutaneously implanted. It features Bluetooth low energy connectivity in order to get some data from inside the patient's body or the animal's body, and to set the membrane voltage, which is correlated with the release profile we want to apply. And of course, it is pre-powered. It has a requirement of some tens of milliwatts, but the problem is that primary batteries cannot guarantee the long-term application in vivo. And for this reason, we would like to periodically recharge secondary batteries to overcome this limit. Of course, the device is implanted, so we cannot connect wires to the soap, and we need some kind of wireless power transfer. For this reason, we decided to use, for this specific device, a near-field resonant inductive coupling system, because this is a common technology applied in active implantable medical devices. And also, commercial off-the-shelf components are quite diffused for this kind of application. The problem with these is their low efficiency and mostly also the overheating issues that we cannot afford since the device is implanted subcutaneously. We should respect safety limits on temperature increase. So the proposed solution is a closed loop inductive wireless power transfer, which is the objective to transmit enough power to continuously and reliably power the device, and at the same time only the required power to avoid the overheating. So to maximize the overall efficiency. And we do this exploiting the Bluetooth, which is already on board and already transmits data. So more specifically, we use also here commercial off-the-shelf components, power transmitter, which is an analog device chip, LTC 4125, with a coil diameter of 20 millimeters, which is compatible with the size of the animals on which the test will be conducted, which are rats. And the receiver, which is an analog device, LTC 4124, which has the advantage of a very small footprint and of being monolithic. So it includes also the recharger for lithium-ion batteries with a coil diameter of 17 millimeters, which is compatible with the overall size of the device. The resonant frequency of this system is around 200 kilohertz, and this is more specifically how the closed loop control works. So during recharge, we have, of course, the battery under recharge, which has its own voltage, and the LTC 4124 exposes and provides as an output this voltage that we want in a specific range above the battery voltage. If we go too up with the voltage, this means that we are risking to overheat, while if it goes lower, this means that we are not probably providing sufficient power to recharge the battery. So the idea is to compare this voltage with the battery voltage, make it fall in a specific range, and if it doesn't, to commit decrease the power of the transistor. So we change a threshold through this system, and ultimately we regulate the voltage at this pin of the LTC 4124 that regulates the duty cycle of the duty cycle of the square wave that pilots the functioning of the inductor for power transmission. This is a comparison between what we have with the open loop and closed loop device. In the open loop, we see that since we are outside the datasheet specifications for this device, out of spec, let's say, we have not a robust power transmission for all the distances that matter in our application. While when we introduce the closed loop, we are consistent at all the distances that matter for us that are below the 16 millimeters, and we are able to supply continuously every voltage in the range that we need for recharging the battery. More specifically, then we tested in conditions that are more close to the in vivo environment. So instead of just testing in air, which is the blue line, we also tested with animal tissue interposed. We used chicken breast, and also with misalignments, which is something that can occur during the animal experiment. And we see that in any case, we are always capable of supplying the device, even with a slight performance degradation. In the end, we tested also the effective battery over time, and we tested different batteries with different capacities and also with different recharge currents, which are related with the time we need for the recharge process. And we conducted the test without and with the active membrane. So at some point, we also introduced the power consumption by the functioning of the battery. We monitored the voltage, the current, and the temperature, and we found the best combination being the Lear 2025 battery, which is a coin cell battery with a 25 milliampere hour capacity, with a 10 milliampere recharge current as a trade-off between the recharge time, the battery capacity, and the temperature increase revealed by the test. This test shown that when we connect, of course, the membrane, we have an increased supply power according with the increased power demand of the receiver. But the maximum overheating, especially on the receiver side, remains around the safety limits in air, which is the worst case, because with chicken breast interposed, because of the thermal capacitance of the water, the temperature seems to be more stable. And here we have the battery recharge process according to the constant current, constant voltage release, constant current, constant voltage charging profile, which is typical for the lithium-ion batteries. And we observe that during the whole recharge process, we don't have any interruptions in the power transmission, and we are able to continuously recharge the battery without problems. So to conclude, we demonstrated a robust and efficient wireless power transfer achieved in the application intended application range, and efficiencies between 25 and 30%. And we achieved a consistent performance across the recharge process in different conditions. Complete battery charging is achieved in around 4 hours. And the thermal verification of the device according to this standard, which is the one for animal tests, is successful. The most important thing, we extended finally the life for this device, making it capable of functioning in vivo for chronic tests for years. In fact, if we multiply the days of autonomy allowed by the battery chosen and the number of recharge cycles that are possible with this battery, we have a projected chronic duration in vivo of more than 6 years. I thank you for the attention, and please, if you have questions.